Hi, my name is Faith Hufford, reporting for the Lexington Commons, and today we're at Central Kentucky Radio I, where we will be interviewing volunteers. So come on in and have a listen.
I'm Whitney Miller, and I'm with Central Kentucky Radio I, and my position is volunteer and program coordinator. So kind of my position is twofold. I work with volunteers to recruit and train and make sure we have enough people to run the radio station at all times. We're a 24/7 service, which means we need about 70 to 80 volunteers per week for us to be able to run smoothly. And sometimes we can get away with less than that, but it's not as good. And the other part of my job is program coordinator, which means I'm always having the listeners call me if they have new ideas for programming or things that they would need or want, anything to really help them. Also, I make sure that the schedule is right and that we have enough people to accommodate that schedule. So our listeners are very, very vocal. If they have any problems, then they definitely call, and we hear about it all the time. So an example of that would be we have one listener who has been listening for 10, 20 years, and almost since the very beginning of when we started. And he recently got a job where he wouldn't be able to hear the Herald Leader at 8 to 10 when we have it live every morning. And so he called and said, I get off at 4 o'clock. Is there any way we can do it after that? I'd really miss hearing it. I would hate to have to record it or have a different way to be able to hear it. So is there any way that I would be able to do that? So we started programming it both in the morning live, and then we would record it and replay it at 5 when we knew that he would be back listening to his radio. So we get a ton of calls, and the schedule is constantly changing just so that we can accommodate all of our listeners, because we do it for them. They're why we're here. We have 2 live programs, and they're the Herald Leader, which is read live from 8 to 10 in the morning, and the Courier Journal, which is read live from 11 to 12. And everything other than that is recorded. So we have 4 recording booths, and we have listeners come in from 7:30 in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they record everything else. So we all set that up in the computer so that it will just run on cue after we leave at 4.
What other things do they read? Besides the Herald and the...
We have all kinds of, we cover 20 counties, so every single regional newspaper from those 20 counties are covered, Bourbon County, Mount Sterling, Winchester, 20 different local newspapers. Yeah, and then after that we have all kinds of health information. Most of our listeners are elderly. Of course, their sight has failed them, but they're usually going through other things too, so we try to keep them up to date on the most relevant medical issues that they would need information for. We also have all kinds of book series, and they call in and request those. Yeah. Just a funny story about me is when I first started here, the listeners call in and request books, whatever they want. So one time we got a romance novel requested that had some steamy scenes in it, and I actually had to read through and tab where the scenes were so that we could do like a warning at the beginning of those things. So I was at the gym reading this romance novel and the stationary bike, and everybody was kind of giving me weird looks and everything, but so it pretty much all comes from them. We also have Women's World, which is Cosmopolitan, People Magazine, any kind of more women's magazines. We also have money and economic issues for a half hour every week. The USA Today, New York Times, I'm trying to think what else. Sports. One of our readers just couldn't make it. He had a flat tire. So I just had to record the Herald Leader Sports for today. So I kind of like reading. I like filling in when people can't be here. So. To really recruit volunteers, we use a lot of different formats, a lot of different media. From 8 to 10 in the morning, we're on the library channel 20 or 17 or 97 or whatever it is now that they've changed everything. But we have ads on that. They're requesting volunteers. We also do all kinds of publications in the Herald Leader, just different people that pick us up. I know Merlene Davis wrote an article on us a couple weeks ago, so that was in there. We also do ads in Skirt Magazine, Tops Magazine. We have different events that those kind of magazines cover in Lexington and the surrounding areas, so we get a lot of feedback from those. And we also do stuff on the web just for different volunteer recruitment sites. And what they do is they usually call us or email us, and I send them information, answer any of the questions that they need. And then once a month, the last Tuesday of the month, for 2 hours, we have a volunteer orientation where all of our new or potential volunteers come and learn a little bit more about what we do, how they can help us, the volunteer opportunities we have, whether it be reading or working the control board or helping us with office help and calling around. There's a million different opportunities that we have. And so they come to that and they can sign up if they want to be a reader for an audition, and which sounds really scary, but it's not. It's basically 50 words and a couple different articles that they read from the Herald Leader, and they do it on disc, like you were recording a normal program. And from there, we get them in and try to get them in once a week to do recording. And basically, if you're just in layman's terms, if you've never seen any of this recording equipment before, you'd have no idea how to, get your program up, edit it, be able to produce the actual program. So for the first couple weeks that they come in, I work with them on how they pick their articles, how many articles they could usually read in the 30-minute program, how fast they should read, and then we'll listen to those after they record them and kind of give them pointers. At the orientation, we always point out, we're not trying to be mean when we tell you that, you need to slow down a little bit. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I'm just trying to help the listeners so they can better hear you. And so once they're kind of in our system and they've done a couple recordings, we have them on a sub list, or we get them a permanent program where that is their program, their day. They come in at a certain time and record something special. Or on the sub list, we just call them if somebody's on vacation and they need relief.
So you said that you have, you need 70 to, what would you say?
70 to 80 volunteers per week.
Per week, yeah. And how many of them are regular volunteers that?
We have between 100 and 120 regular volunteers at any given time. Since most of our volunteers are retired, we have people that, just do it during the summer, and during the winter they fly south and, live in Florida for half the year. And we have another group that, vacation all during the summer, so they're not here. So any given time we have between 100 and 120 regular volunteers that we can call to come in and help. Out of those 120, probably 80 of them come in every week, without a doubt.